Hey everybody, welcome to the Insurance Journal's Academy of Insurance's weekly webinar after show. I'm your host George, and for today's class, who's driving this? Where are we going with autonomous vehicles? It was more than autonomous fun. I don't know what the opposite of autonomous would be, but joining me for the after show is the director of the Academy of Insurance, Patrick Raitt, and today's instructor. Today's instructor was Dr. Brenda Wells. And Brenda, you are still the instructor and will be in on-demand perpetuity. Brenda, welcome to the after show. It's great to have you here.
Great. Thank you, George and Patrick. It's always good to be with both of you.
Would that be manual autonomous? Is that we're driving now? Manual, I don't know.
I don't know.
All right. Well, in lieu of that, Brenda, you talked a lot about autonomous vehicles and how they're going to be do the benefits of them, the pros, the cons, things like that. And you talked about liability. Will some liability go away? Will there be other liability that takes its place? I was wondering, you mentioned that driver accidents or car accidents will be diminished. And you asked your class at one point, I think, what is the main cause of car accidents? And I think they said drunk driving was the prevalent answer. But you said driver error. Mm-hmm. And then you went on to talk about a couple of different types of driver error. But can you tell me, do you know what the most common kind of driver error is? Like, is it phone use while driving? Is it makeup application? Is it eating? What is the, do you know? What's the scuttlebutt on that?
I think the phones are the biggest issue.
Phones.
I mean, you can, I drive, 25 miles to work, and, I'll pull up or pass people and see them, they're driving and they're just on their phone like that, and they're not paying attention to the road, and they're going to kill somebody or kill themselves. And so I think the phones are the biggest issue. But, I have seen men shaving while driving. And the worst I ever heard of, this was back when I lived in Texas, I heard somebody say they saw a woman in an SUV breastfeeding her child while driving. People do stupid things behind the wheel of a car. They do.
I would venture to say that if men shaving might be a common one, but if ladies were shaving, maybe that would be way more hazardous. I don't know. In terms of, so a lot of the appeal of an autonomous vehicle, I think, is the self-sufficiency, right? The lack of the human error, things like that. Do you think autonomous vehicles will also autonomously maintain themselves too? Like, do you think someone's going to wake up, want to be driven to work, and then the autonomous vehicle will have driven itself to the garage? Or will autonomous mechanics come and do maintenance on it, and the manual autonomous owner can't go to work until that's done? What do you think?
I would think that you still have to take them into a dealership. That is what I would think.
Okay.
At least until they're more prevalent. I don't think, and I predict, and my predictions are worth exactly what you pay for them. I predict it's going to take about 50 years to get manually driven cars off the road. I think it's going to take 40 or 50 years to get, just like it took a while to get the horse and buggy off the road. Well, when 90% of people have an autonomous vehicle, they're going to want the human-driven cars off the road.
Right.
So I could envision a day where perhaps, say, on interstates or major thoroughfares, that only autonomous vehicles would be permitted. Okay. So I feel like there's still a long way to go looking at those accident statistics. thousands of incidents over 3 or 4 years. That's not good. The technology is not ready yet. I think from what I'm reading and hearing, it sounds like Waymo has it down pretty good, but the others don't. And I personally, I wouldn't want a level 3 car that I have to pay attention to the road while I'm using the self-driving feature. I mean, what's the point? If I'm going to watch the road, I might as well drive myself.
2 questions for you, for me. These are, so you talked about how cars replace the horse and buggy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think at some point this will come full circle and the autonomous horse and buggy will come back into play? And you talked about job loss, like maybe truckers, things, people like that. And you talked about job gain, like a new kind of forensic scientist that investigates accidents. Mm-hmm. Another job, another line of employment might be the Fast and the Furious movies. So if autonomous vehicles completely take over, do you think the Fast and the Furious movies will become like the gradual and the safe, or the gradual and the placid? Like, will Vin Diesel and The Rock be out of a gig? Will Michelle Rodriguez be able to adapt to the gentle and the assured driving with
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen those movies. Maybe
that's a very Patrick Reed answer.
Maybe I'm supposed to have, but I don't remember seeing it. And if I did see it, it wasn't memorable. So,
well, do you think the premise? Do you think an autonomous car would be less memorable? Like Tokyo Drift would not be happening because a car would, I don't know.
The car will obey all the rules and will obey the laws. And so, but I don't, just like there are antique cars from the Model T on up. I mean, there will be antique manually driven cars that you could make movies with, I think.
An antique Buick Century. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
All right. Patrick, so we've established a lot in Brenda's class, one of which is she's never seen any of the Fast and Furious movies. Okay, we get that. Patrick, what do you think of the topic of autonomous vehicles in general, in particular, and Brenda's class even more in particular?
Well, I too have never seen the Fast and Furious movies. 2, George is our resident cinephile, so he just loves movies of all sorts. And has a penchant for movie trivia that has a grand depth and breadth. He outranks us all when it comes to that. So let's just establish that right there. Now, back to the topic at hand of autonomous vehicles. I think that, there were people 10 years ago who were very bullish on this idea that it would be implemented quickly, and I tend to think that even maybe 50 years is optimistic in some ways, just because the American ethos maybe or personality is built off of our grand love affair with the automobile. I mean, that may be I may be exaggerating that, but I don't really think so. The fact is that other countries, while they have built cars and engineered cars and love cars, they've still got thriving rail systems for passenger rail and the like. The passenger train in the United States is more of a I don't know, luxury travel item, maybe. I don't know. But in my mind, autonomous vehicles are the way you get, I think, the majority of Americans to think about autonomous vehicles as a possibility is that you increase the low hanging fruit kind of things, like the Waymo, And I forget what the service is called in Las Vegas. It's a fully autonomous vehicle, no human pilot at all available. That's traveling a marked route in different areas. Things like the airport shuttles or hotel shuttles, things like that are very low lift kind of things, right? The vehicle knows exactly where it's supposed to be, when it's supposed to be there. And, you've got this EV, right? That's just a passenger bus or small van that at 10:52 knows that at the Hilton by the Oklahoma City airport, it's going to take me 8 minutes to get to OKC. So to cruise the terminals for anybody coming to the hotel, and then cruise by and come back, drop them off at the door, go park till the next round. Things like that, where where it just kind of, here's this, you can either get this or go get an Uber. Don't really care. You know what I mean? But I think that that this could be a generational thing. So 50 years, maybe the next generation following that. But at the same time, I know that my children's generation, many of those kids did not have the same desire to get a driver's license like I did. My 16th birthday, I was downtown at the county building signing up for get my test and take my written test and schedule my road test and all those things. I wanted to get that little piece of paper so I could roll the window down and crank up the radio and roll. I mean, and I don't think that exists in the same way anymore. And so I do think there's a longer tail on this, but I also personally, I am not interested myself in getting into a more level 4 type or level 5 type, even autonomous vehicle at the moment, because there's too many people driving and people are unpredictable. And the one thing that an autonomous vehicle does not yet have the intelligence to do is predict what Joe Schmuckatelli is going to do when he's in his car.
Good point. Like I said, the vehicle to vehicle technology, I don't know when that's coming online, or, if you can I don't know if you can retrofit a car with it. I mean, I don't know.
So while you were teaching, I Googled comma.ai has a retrofit kit to add autonomous driving capabilities to over 300 different types of vehicles.
How much was it?
$1,000, which was cheaper than I thought.
That's a lot cheaper than I thought. Is that a DIY kit?
Yep.
There's some things you just shouldn't do yourself. One time I had seen all these commercials for installing wood laminate flooring, and I went out and I bought wood laminate flooring, and I ripped the carpet up, and I bought power tools, and I got down and I got about a third of the way through the room, took one look at it, and called a pro. There's just some things I don't think you should do on your own, and retrofitting a car for autonomous operation sounds like a bad idea to me. That maybe I'm just that risk averse.
I don't think you're wrong about that. I think that there's a degree of common sense that ought to kick in. So, maybe I'm not qualified for this.
Yeah. I mean, you make a mistake and the car malfunctions, and I just think the DIY kit just sounds like a bad idea. If you were going to get it done right. And, but I mean, the autonomous vehicles have some cool features in them. Like my car is a level 2. It's a Mustang, and it's got like adaptive cruise control in it. If I've got cruise control on and I run up on somebody going slower, it slows the car down. Sometimes it malfunctions though. Sometimes it's never caused a wreck or anything, but sometimes I'll be driving and it'll just start dropping the speed and there's nothing in my way. And that's annoying. But I do like it, and it's got crash avoidance system. A few weeks ago, I almost didn't stop in time for somebody in front of me had stopped, and my car stopped. It had an alarm go off, and it stopped.
Yep.
So there are some neat things about autonomous vehicles, but the incident rate with them is just so bad. I mean, the purpose of the car was to save lives and make life easier. And there's been all these deaths, and we still don't have a handle on the accident rate. It just depends on who you ask.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And these autonomous vehicles, they're still not perfect, but they are improving. There was a video circulating maybe a year or so ago of a bunch of Waymos trying to get to their evening parking lot, and they were all hawking at each other for an hour or two trying to find a parking spot. I thought that was just that was perfect. I mean, just those kinds of things. And I think there was an issue with a power outage or something earlier this year out in maybe San Francisco. I don't remember exactly. There was a Waymo issue late last year, early this year. But again, things are moving in a faster pace with this, and it would not surprise me. I have a friend who works at a trucking company. They have trouble keeping drivers. Mm-hmm. And so there's where the trucking companies are going, well, so, okay, we're having a hard time getting people to learn this and stay in this trade. It's going to be easier for me just to get a fleet of these vehicles, and I'll cut my drivers in half, and one will drive a truck, and the second truck will drive right behind them, and they'll convoy to where the truck needs to go. Yeah.
And the other thing is they just haven't worked out all the bugs. Mm-hmm. There's just bugs. I mean, and it's a very complex car. I mean, with all the different technologies wrapped up in that car, I mean, it's easy for something to go wrong, I think. But my friends I have a good friend who has a Tesla, and she loves it. She thinks that's just the best. I don't know that I'd trust them yet.
Well, one out of one good friends polled loves their Tesla.
Yes.
And I think we realized that the Blues Brothers would have been a terrible movie, as would have The French Connection.
Oh, yeah.
Both versions have gone in 60 seconds if it was all autonomous vehicles. So would Ben-Hur have been a better movie if there were autonomous chariots? It just makes you wonder. Brenda, you don't make us wonder because you always have great informative classes, and you fill in all the blanks with your. I was telling Brenda before our show that I had questions for her, but she kept answering them, and I just But that's what it's all about. That's what that's why we have Brenda as an academy instructor. So we thank you very much for everything today, Brenda. And Patrick, thank you for absolutely, and thank you for showing up. We always appreciate having you at the after show too. So. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Absolutely. On behalf of our instructor, Dr. Brenda Wells, and our director, Patrick Raitt, this is your host, George, saying thanks, everyone, for coming to the after show. Drive carefully, or unless you're in an autonomous vehicle, just, I guess, get in the back seat and start crocheting a new scarf, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day, everybody. Take good care.